as years go on, you realize, all right, this person knows what he's talking about. Like this person has grown and formed a legit business. So I mean, tell us about First Call Fitness. Like, did you always want to get into personal training and bodybuilding and nutrition, or I mean, how did it all start?
Okay, well, just some background. So, First Call Fitness is a nutrition consulting service. I specialize mainly with women who deal with health conditions like endometriosis, PMDD, post-op hysterectomies, where their hormones are a little wonky and they need some troubleshooting. So, I always tell people think of me as a personal trainer, but a little more in depth and a little more knowledgeable about hormonal health and how internal health impacts external physique. And so currently I run a team of about 93 people. I had a couple of people join recently. So I usually cap it around 100, but it's worldwide. So I have clients, obviously in the US, Canada, UK, Malaysia, Australia. I got a couple down there. And I've been doing this for 7 years. I actually never thought I would be running an online training nutrition business because quite frankly, like the whole like online coach thing is kind of like a joke because like anybody can do it. All you need is a phone, a social media account, and look halfway decent and in shape. You can sell shakes and wraps and diet plans on Facebook. Everyone's doing it. But to be good at it and to actually do this as a full-time job, you have to obviously know a few things with nutrition, and you have to have a little bit of business acumen. So luckily, I have been blessed with both. So I've been able to kind of turn what I love into my career. So that's like my little background
here. Yeah, that's good. I mean, like you said, especially social media these days, like anybody can start anything. And if you look halfway decent, you can say you're a personal trainer. But what really separates it is the knowledge, and especially if you have specified knowledge, like it seems like you do. I didn't even know that. So, what made you want to get into those specific types? Is it something personal, or is it something you just stumbled across, or how did that happen?
Well, the thing is like personal training and coaching has sort of evolved over time. Like back in the 80s and 90s, it was all about aerobics, all about taking classes. It was like CrossFit, Zumba, dance classes, spin classes, Orange Theory, all that stuff, right? And what's been happening over time is that people are over dieted, they're overtrained, and especially with women, chronic stress and chronic overtraining can severely impact hormones in a negative way. So people keep working out and they keep dieting and they keep trying all these different fad diets, keto, paleo, all this stuff, right? Whole30, and eventually they hit a wall and nothing works anymore. And so now I've seen a shift in terms of where the needs of the industry have kind of, moved towards. And now it's people looking to fix the damage they've done over the decades. And the entire industry is now no longer about pushing cardio and pushing random diets. It's all about internal health. And the people who know how to troubleshoot it are going to be the ones that are going to be the frontline leaders of the industry moving forward.
I've certainly gone through my waves. I was a part of the whole CrossFit community. I still love the community of it. I think the gym I belong to, he was more so about the community and the lifestyle versus everyone just doing like Murph 3 days a week. Like it wasn't like the type of training that he did. But you brought up a good point of what I would love to talk about and get your opinion on is all these diets. Like there's always something that comes up. Like I don't remember what it was back in the day, but now it's like the Atkins diet, right? And then you have paleo, and then you have the Whole30, and then keto. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but can these be like actual lifestyles for the majority of people? Or is it kind of like people do it quickly to fix something, and then they realize they don't want to do this forever, and now they're just back to where they were 6 months later?
Totally. I think, a lot of my clients, they follow meal plans or ways of eating, right? And a lot of other people inquiring about how I work with clients, they always say, well, what kind of diet are you following? What kind of diet do you have your clients follow? And I'm like, I don't have a name for it. It's just how we eat, So a lot of people do tend to gravitate towards diets with names or diets that tend to eliminate a certain food group. Like, so for example, like keto, you eliminate carbs. There's like fat-free diets. You eliminate all fat, all dietary fat. That was really popular in the 90s, but a lot of fat-free ice creams, fat-free cookies, everything was fat-free. And what happens is that people tend to do these diets for maybe like 3 months, 6 months max, and it's not sustainable. The minute you go on a vacation, you go on a trip, and you don't have access to these special foods anymore, if you're surrounded in an environment that is, conducive to eating something off plan, they go off the rails and they binge eat and they just completely regain that weight, and they have to cycle, yo-yo over the years between various diet plans. They try this, they go low fat, then they go low carb, and then they end up gaining all the weight back. So it's not sustainable.
When you put plans together, I understand there's not a name for it, but when you put plans together for people, is it
Mhm.
like like it's a science, right? Like I've watched you, I've seen your posts, I've seen when you had Excel spreadsheets of the macro countings, and like you're off by
Yep.
like 0.1%, like you hit 99.9% of the goal. So is it
Yep.
like really just keeping track in there's high carb days, there's low carb days, like there's a science behind it, right? It isn't just like eat 1 gram per pound of your body weight that you want to be at and
No, yeah. There's a science to it, but diet design is also an art as well, because there's little considerations you need to make based off of a client's psyche or emotional state. So it's not just purely about hitting your protein goals, your carbs and fats. So in terms of diet design, okay, there are nuances that you have to consider. So it's a science, but it's also an art. And there are things I consider like cultural background, right? So certain cultures tend to enjoy certain foods, or people who have an affinity towards like crunchier stuff. They have a craving for something crunchy. Maybe I might put like almonds instead of peanut butter, or carrots for a vegetable instead of like spinach or something, right? So there's little things like that, little nuances that I've kind of picked up on over time that I integrate into the meal design.